Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn web development and become a better coder, start now by subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. Alright, so in the previous video we've discussed some whitespace, HTML elements and CSS element selectors, and in this video we'll continue by discussing normal document flow. So we start off with the initial text that we had in the previous example, and that's just this some random text here, which shows that the browser only honors single whitespace characters and ignores enters, carriage returns, tabs, and so on and so on. Alright, so we also mentioned a bit about using HTML element selectors to target HTML elements on the page from CSS. So we have this h1 element right here, and we have an opening h1 tag and a closing h1 tag, and of course these two tags are surrounding some text. That's all the things that we've covered in the previous video. And now I want to first mention normal document flow. So basically all web pages flow from the top to the bottom and they move from left to right. So it's just like a normal book or anything else that we might be reading. So at least in the English language. So we've got the movement from the left to the right and from the top to the bottom. Now, as far as elements go, there are two kinds of elements: block elements and inline elements. Block elements are things like h1 tags, or actually all the h tags. So for example, if we added another h tag, h2 tag, it would go just like the h1 and cover the full width. And if we wanted to make sure that this is indeed the case, we can add a comma and list multiple elements that we are targeting, multiple selectors in our CSS, and basically they're going to share the same styles that we have right here. So this is proof that the h2 as well is a block level element, as well as divs. So for example, to prove that divs are also block level elements, we can simply type div instead of h1 or h2, and all the divs will get the background of plum and border on one pixel solid blue, which shows that even though a div doesn't have much text, it's going to stretch the full width of the page. Also, we have another div that's kind of a reiteration of this conclusion that we had right here, and that's that even though this text is inside the div element, it doesn't change the fact that the browser still doesn't honor whitespace and puts all the contents of this div onto a single line inside the div itself. Alright, so this is block level elements, but there are some inline elements such as the span tag. So these elements go as wide as their content goes. So all of these spans have just some simple text inside of them, and that's why they are lined up like this. If a span is by any chance surrounded with two divs, then it might seem that this span also takes the full width, but actually we can see that the styling proves that this span only takes up this much width of the available space. And the reason why nothing else is lining up on this side is because before it and after we've got block level elements that take up the full width. Also, several spans here, so they are lining up like bricks on a wall, and this is a good metaphor that we can use, that we can think of. Basically, an entire web page is just a structure of HTML elements in which some elements are behaving like bricks in a wall, and other elements like divs and h1s and h2s are behaving like, we can say, elastic blocks, which cover basically the full width of their wall, aka web page, from its left edge to its right edge. So 100% of the available space is covered by block elements. And inline block or inline elements take up only the amount of space that they've got, that they actually need to cover. In this case, the amount of text that they have determines their width. Alright, that's it for this video, and in the next one we'll discuss CSS element selectors versus CSS class selectors.